Dummy Switch Pod.
Yes,
Those
sir.
those those unfiltered rugby opinions. How are you, Chris?
Very well, thanks. Good as all you.
I'm okay. My Lions, we were in with a chance. We were in with a fighting chance, but I think your Sharks. I think that's where we should begin.
Yeah, look, I like you with the Lions. Needless to say, they were robbed, but you know what? It's the truth. But look, the Sharks, I think they set the tone for the weekend for SA Rugby, all the teams. So yeah, I'm really happy about that. Finally getting the win. Good game. The Boeta Chamberlain doing well. I think just the real coaching. You can see now our coaches are starting to work.
Yeah, I think it looks like the Sharks had a change of management there, a change of coaching team. This was essentially the Boeta Chamberlain match.
Yeah, no, it was. I think the way he controlled things at 10, from his kicking, moving the team around, keeping the ball in front of the pack. Look, yes, he takes all the credit, but I think we must also put it down to, the pack, the coaching, the team as a whole, because that was really a team effort. I think also the changes that were made, the dynamic in terms of the starting guys and the bench, the pack.
Definitely.
I think they got that right. And then, of course, that allowed Boeta Chamberlain to do his business. And I think we always know number 10 is an important position. We're always looking at what the 10 is doing, how he's controlling the game, and especially in the north, I think that becomes even more important. And the game awareness, when to get the points, whether with the drop goals, and then we saw that from Boeta Chamberlain,
the spectacular drop goals.
Yeah, keeping the pressure on, scoreboard ticking over. I think a big difference, big difference,
Yeah, are we gonna find ourselves in a situation where Cohen Bosch is surplus to requirement? I mean, Anthony Fulmink, he filled in well at 15 as well.
Yeah. Look, it's really sad to see, but at the same time, I think it goes to show that not every schoolboy prodigy, is the real deal when it comes to the big time. In all honesty, I mean, when last did we have like a mega performance from Cohen Bosch, consistently? So, if I think back, if I look at him,
basically,
yeah, you see, if I look and I think about it, if there was a guy, Pat Lambie, when he was at the Sharks, he was a schoolboy prodigy. When he came up, he was the business, and he did the business, So it's like that example. It's like even France was staying at school, Johan Christen at school, and those guys just kicked on. And then, Bosch, I think the sort of excuses in his defense, we're running out of excuses and defense. He's got to do something, and urgently, if he's going to retain his spot. Otherwise, Japan, here we come.
I definitely think it's going to be a Japan, here we come situation. If we get deeper into that game, Takir Abrams, off early. Werner Kok coming in, I think he had a solid shift. Unfortunate there for Takis. Dutoy, I've been a critic of him, but the man, as a captain and as, an overall performance, he's playing at a level above. He's playing at a level above the average sort of player on the field. So I have to commend him.
We have to give him credit. You can see that, okay, this is why he was being involved in the Springbok setup, because he's got those qualities. I think his issue is delivering them consistently at international level. Yes. But also, now we're starting to see him. I think that experience is shining through. He's growing into his own, the big man. And I just hope for him he can just continue, because we've seen, and I think he showed this past weekend, and I think in the earlier rounds as well of the URC, you can see that he's a level above, like you say, So good on him for sure.
Nkunu as well, big runs, getting away with a few things at the scrums. I think Sharks run. In fact, the whole front row, because Van Vuuren, I think he also put his hand up there. It was, something. I think the whole team, there was a confidence flowing through this whole team, and good for the boys.
Yeah,
I mean, especially. Sorry, can I just go off? The most impressive thing for me about Chamberlain was, fine, the drop goals has been spoken about a lot, but when he was pressed, he made the right decisions.
Yeah.
Decision making at 10. I mean, they pressed him, then he put in the little kick, finds Andrews. They pressed him the other time, and it was his hands that for that Portuguese right.
Yeah.
So I think, and then that final dagger of the drop goal, but for me, more impressively was the decision making under pressure.
Yeah, I think I was going to touch on something similar, around adapting. I think the whole team, we're seeing that they've adapted to, number one, the conditions that side, and I wouldn't say fully adapted to the refereeing style, but they're getting there, and you can actually see that there is an improvement, and I think that's the biggest positive that we can take out of this. Looking at that log, it's a long competition, and it's basically now, trying to back it up again with the result. Let me put it that way, with the result, because it's one thing we've seen for sure is that it's difficult to play in the Northern Hemisphere, so our teams just need to focus on getting the results. When the opportunity is there to go for the win, take the win. At best, you have to come away with points from all those games. There has to be something to show from our guys. But overall, I'm just happy with the Sharks. The coaching, very, very astute changes. To the pack. And the bench. I think they got the balance right. Overall.
Yeah, definitely.
And just credit to all the players. And the management. Because now they're earning their bacon for sure.
They're earning their euros, match fees in euros now. Pina, big game for Pina. I think he could potentially be another Morné Saint situation where, he's back in that bog fold, especially with Faf supposedly rumored to be injured at the moment.
Yeah, I think even with him, it just took a bit of a while. I think if you look at round 1, round 2, he just took a bit of a while to get back into the groove of things. I think, the being back in the Sharks jersey must have felt weird for him, but you're starting to see his quality and why, especially in the North, he was so respected, out in Ireland and, the things that he's done. So, it's good to see. But look, not in a bad way, but, if Faf is out, look, just give the youngsters the opportunity. We can't keep rolling back the clock, doing throwbacks, because sometimes throwbacks they're going to put the brakes on our future and the growth. So do we really need that? I don't know, but I guess that's why the guys that are coaching, they get paid the bucks to do their jobs. So we will see.
We will see. Let's talk Lions now. Shaky start, a try that wasn't a try.
Yeah.
I don't even that decision. I don't even want to really get into it.
Yeah.
Because it is what it is. At that moment,
they were robbed.
Yeah.
They were robbed. Don't know what game those officials were watching, but they were robbed. So I'm saying.
But yeah, I mean, from there, fullback dropping the ball, uncontested kicks. That's when I thought, okay, we're in for a long day here.
Yeah.
But we couldn't defend the set piece. But I have to give credit that they did come back into the game. There were individuals that did have a good game. Warner stepped his game up.
He was big.
Yeah, it seems like he's adapted well to the competition. Same thing with Ivia Viljoen. Surprisingly, he at 10.
Hey.
He was slotting the penalties, looking like a Rolls Royce of a fly half.
Hey, my man, I was just like, no, is this the same guy that was at 15? I
Maybe it's the jersey. Maybe it's the jersey because Divan Rousseau had a shocker. Even Fayun was having a shocker. Maybe it's the 15 jersey. Maybe we must retire it, put it in the stands, and say no. We play with 16 or something.
Yeah, because Divan Rousseau, look, there were times where he had some good touches, good breakouts. Where you thought, okay, from a counter-attacking perspective, he looks good. He's got something there, but then the basics, he just wasn't getting them right. And that was really sad because he kept on putting the Lions under pressure. But then I think the grit of the Lions, from a defensive point of view, the scramble defense, how they stayed, that kept them in that game, kept them in that fight. Just unlucky that they weren't able to get over the line. But all the ingredients are there. The only problem that I have with the Lions is that up-down sort of trend that they have. 1 week they'll have a good game, next week they're not quite at that level. They haven't found their consistency, which is irritating, to be honest.
My thing is, given everything that's happened, you reach the 60-minute mark, the score is 10-9, it's up for grabs. I think as a coach, that's all you really want playing away. You've got 20 minutes to steal this thing. Yes. And at that point, the rain was heavy. The Lions have a dominant scrum. Essentially, it's here for the taking. But these guys, they decide to take, they got a penalty on the halfway. You've got a guy that he's not your regular kicker, but you're kicking from halfway. It's the opportunity to build, get into their 22 and build something. And I think there's calm heads missing there. There's wrong decisions being made. I think it's from a coaching standpoint as well, because they can always send the message down.
No, true. I back you 100% on that. Because you're away from home. What you want, you want that territorial sort of dominance or territorial advantage, and possession. Okay, let's say because the Northern Hemisphere teams, they do compete at line-out time. So let's say you get down there, they're 22. Maybe you lose, you don't win your line-out. The pressure that Warner was able to put on his opposite number, at the end of the day, it gives you, there's still a chance to sort of keep them under pressure, whether you have ball in hand or not, and it's just questionable, and you have to really question the coaching setup, because like you say, you're away from home 10-9, it's there for the taking. Send a message down to say, wait, this guy's not a regular kicker, so look, let's put it down in the corner. Let's try to put pressure, and build from there. But I think they're going to be kicking themselves when they look back, as much as the refereeing decisions.
The last 10 minutes was just a horrible decision after horrible decision. They got in the situation that you speak of where they got a line out down there. Then they're making a hooker that's just come on in the rain, hit a middle ball. It has just, then from there, it's going back to Divan Rousseau knocking on balls again at the back. So it just became like the last 20 was a repeat of the first 20.
Yes.
So the robbery is a robbery, but the pain in my heart, the pain in my chest is from that 60th minute. What happened from there?
Yeah.
But Sangweni, good cameo. Warner, good game. There are some things to be cheerful about.
Yeah, they're positives, definitely, but at the same time, there's some passages that, we need to, the Lions need to offload some passages, and we need to freshen up some things there. And even, even the decision-making from a coaching setup, they need to offload some of their decisions or some of their mindsets, because I think it's a mindset thing as well. It's that cutting edge, cutthroat sort of performance or mentality that we're looking for. By the looks of it, at the end of the day, that's what's going to make the difference between making playoffs in this competition is how ruthless. I think the ruthless teams are the ones And so far, we've seen the likes
Yeah,
of
that's what we
Munster,
saw
Leinster.
first 2 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, those guys are very ruthless. You know, they don't give you anything. You know, if you give them a chance, they'll take it. And I think our teams are still getting there. But positives, we have to build. We have to build. Come on, the Lions.
Yeah. No, Lions will get there eventually. It's a long walk. It's a long walk. Let's talk Stormers now, and we talk about those, you know, taking your chances when you get them. I feel like execution was missing in this game. Edinburgh, you know, they were hot off the blocks.
Yes.
Stormers down early, and the defense, it was Van der Walt was the one that was making trouble. And you know, first he caught out Peterson with the dummy. Then Klaba, he caught Klaba out with you know, a one-on-one, paced him on his outside. And my thing is, did you guys not do the scouting report? Do you not know who this guy is? You know, he's not an unknown quantity. Like you should sort of know the kinds of things that this guy would be able to do. But further building on that, I feel like the Stormers were lucky in that Edinburgh didn't have that cutting edge that we've seen the last 2 weeks from the other teams. Because if they did have that cutting edge, this would have been a very, very long night for the Stormers. Yeah,
completely agree with you. I think, and here's the sad thing is that Edinburgh weren't at their best. The opportunity was there for the Stormers to take them. You know, as much as Stormers were also not at their best, you know, I think they were just hanging on, really, you know. Again, I think it's that inconsistency thing, you know, and there's a lot of, you can see the huge reliance on guys like Ruiz, you know. Look, that guy's back must be so sore, you know, from carrying that team, you know. Yes, if I was him, you know, all the guys owe him a freaking back rub, you know, because the amount of work that he gets through, you know, it's impressive. You know, it's impressive. You can see he's really hungry. He's always trying to get into it. He's always trying to spark something. You know, I think the Stormers haven't really found their balance, in my view. You know, they haven't really found their balance. And, you know, guys like Sergio Peterson, I think he's too experienced now to be getting caught out like that. You know.
Yeah, that was a Currie Cup play. That was a Currie Cup through and through. You can't be doing that kind of thing at you know, this level now.
Yeah, you really cannot, you know. So Stormers were lucky, you know. I think one thing from a South African context, we'll take the draw, you know, in the words of Peter de Villiers, you know, we'll take it, you know. So so, you know, I think for them at least it's something to build on as well, you know, to continue building on that. I think there's not much else to be said about them except that, you know, they yes, the inconsistencies, they also still need to figure themselves out, you know, because we haven't really seen, I think we saw in that first game, we saw glimpses. The sad thing is that they're not able to build on what the positives that they've had from previous weeks, you know, which is really concerning for me. You know, I think from a coaching perspective, they need to look at themselves. You know, I think we've been saying it for the longest time. You know, I think they need some more brain power there in the coaching group, especially from I think the technical side of things. You know, there's little things that you can see if they improve on those that can automatically make them a better side. You know, but there's a lot to be. There's a lot of work for them. I think out of, you know, Stormers and out of all the teams, I think Stormers and Lions, but more Stormers have got a lot to work on and to improve on, because they've got too much quality. You know, they've got the quality players. Okay, in certain positions they may be lacking, but, you know,
that's what I was going to say.
There's enough quality around there for them to be doing better, and they need to be doing better, especially away from home. You get that chance. You, as South African, you need to take, you know, you need to take.
Stormers do better. Gelant, good game again. If we're going to talk, you know, moving forward to next month, Boks are going to play. So I think with him, it was him and Evan Ruiz in this game that stand out for me as the Bok Bolters. I think also Evan Ruiz, Edinburgh, don't you know who he is by now? That try for De Wet again, scouting report. Who's handling the scouting in these teams?
Yeah, but I think he's just too dynamic. They can't put their finger on what he's going to do, because look, he's what I like about him. He's a ball player as well. He's not just carry and try bash people, get over the advantage line. He's got a good feel for the game. He knows when to release, the pass and put guys away. This guy is out here assisting, he's doing it for fun. Getting through tackles. Especially close quarters. I like the way he operates close quarters. It's very difficult to bring down.
Yeah, for that DeVet try, he saw food. He just saw that man in front of him. He just saw food. Moving on to next game, Bulls. Bulls versus Cardiff Rugby. This one, big game for the Bulls because essentially 3 in a row would be a disaster.
Yeah.
So, and I think especially after the weekend the South African teams had, it could have gone two ways. They could have either been energized by those results and thought, it's our time, or they could have, gone the other way and they could have taken it to be a less happy weekend for the South African side. Hendricks, he's back in the centers. Curtly Arns on the wing. I think those were changes that need to happen.
Yes.
Mapu had a bit of a shocker in the rounds earlier. Yeah,
look, I think, one thing, the Bulls, there was a time where with the Bulls game, I think the scramble defense also kept them in the game, and especially early on, there were danger signs.
Butcher try from Navidi first 2 minutes.
Yeah, there were danger signs, and Cardiff could have easily just run away with it. And you know how it is, especially if you fall behind, away from home, you can. It can really become a mountain to climb to try to get back into the game. But the Bulls, they hung on, and I think what we started to see is, the experience of Bismarck du Plessis coming through, especially at line-out time, whereas I think the last 2 rounds, he wasn't on song, but expected, and now that quality is coming through, strong carries,
he was an irritation. He was, you could see the irritation he was causing on the other side, and that's what you want to do. It's a skill in itself to be that sort of irritating for the other side.
Yeah, and almost like there's this one lineup where I felt like I quite enjoyed his game because I felt like he was really controlling. He was managing the ref really well. Because I think that one lineup where the Bulls got a short on, because Cardiff kept on closing the gap. The previous lineup before they did the same, the referee didn't penalize it, but he mentioned it. And then the next lineup that they got, all he did is he showed the ref, and then the ref gave that short arm. Even at scrum, the way he was managing the referee, you could see that, this referee was recognizing that, listen, this is Bismarck du Plessis' experiences. It felt like that, But then, talking about Cornell Hendricks, I think we can all agree that center is his best position, whether it be 12 or 13. He adds a lot of value there. His work rate is cross covering as well, second to none. And then Curtly Orange, give that man the ball.
He's electric.
I think if from what you've seen, he's small in stature, but like you said, he's electric. But he's got that physicality to break out of tackles and the ability to create something out of nothing. Exciting player. We need to see more of him. I think what the Bulls need to do, they need to just get back to what they were doing in Unlocked and in Currie Cup is. Letting the ball do the work, yes, earning the right to go up wide, but also letting the ball do the work because, they've got something there. Madosh as well. Madosh is, I feel like ever since he's been at the Bulls, he's a different player. He's gotten better and better. He has some decision-making situations that he needs to improve on for sure, but overall, I think the Bulls, David Creel at fullback. I think he's he's been solid for them. You know, he really is a good player. You know, his work off the ball. You know, I think even the one where he got that turnover ball is a key chase. Somebody made a tackle, then he was there. You know, to get that penalty. And even Chris Smith coming on for Jan Christen. You know, when Christen went off, you know, you wouldn't blame Bull supporters if they thought, okay, listen, maybe the game is going to go south, because Christen was starting to look like he was, you know, he was heating up.
Yeah, and I mean, there was a lot of momentum changes. You know, when Navidi got injured, it shifted the game one way, and then the yellow card shifted the game one. You know, it was in the Bulls' favor, so this looked like it was going to shift it the other way.
True, but again, credit to the Bulls for capitalizing, taking the opportunities. You know, I think they hung in there long enough. You know, they absorbed that pressure. Yes, you know, by hook or by crook, because Cardiff butchered a lot of opportunities. But the fact that the opportunity was there for the Bulls and they took it, you know, and they put them away. You know, I think they were also helped, buoyed by the Sharks guys in the stands. You know, cheering them on. I think, you know, it felt like there was more South African fans in the stadium, you know, especially in this game, out of all the teams so far. You know, like, I feel like this game, you felt there's a lot of Saffers in there and, you know, gave them that oomph, you know. So, yeah, look, all around, good work by the Bulls. Coaching definitely improved.
Definitely. For me, the thing was, I think I heard Jake White say it, where they said they need to get reward for dominance in certain areas. Like, you look at the first half, they were, 16-3 down, but they were dominant in certain and most areas of the game. So they just needed to find reward for that. And once they started finding it, that's when the points started coming. So good belief from, you know, the players and from the coaches as well. In the words of Elton Yankees, must stick to the processes.
Yeah,
and it paid off for these guys.
It did, you know, and rightly so. I think, look, they backed themselves, and you saw. I think it was after Madosh's try, you know, like you could see he was also saying, look, you know, we got this. Let's keep going. Because you could see that belief, you know. I think,
and that in itself was a reward for the good defense that they had put in.
Yes, you see, and capitalize, you know, Madosh. Geez, he used that flower off. Is it what's his name? You know, is it Bigger or is it Priestland? I'm not sure, but the Welsh flower off number 10. You know, that guy must have, he must have heard those footsteps, you know, and then he just saw this lightning just coming past him. But, you know, it was funny to watch, because he had the head start.
Yeah, especially in the commentary. I think the commentator said something like, he's gonna get him. There was a small remark where he's like, no, he's got this.
Yeah, you know. So, but overall, I think just Marcel Coetzee as well. I think the second half, he had a good second half. Ambrose Papyrus, I was so happy that he played the full 80. You know, because I was really keeping an eye on him. You know, in the first half, you know, he wasn't. There was no confidence, but throughout the team, you know, there's just. You could see that, you know, it's on a knife edge in terms of the scales. You know, it could have easily gone one way and horribly wrong, but they stuck to it. And then in the second half, they just grew into that game, and especially Papyr's kicking was better. You know, it's just overall game management became better. And then you started to see why he was once in the box setup, you know, in terms of his play. And I don't see why he cannot kick on. You know, that's what we want to see, is him kicking on to get back into that mix, because I still feel that he's got a lot to offer, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
Even Oliver Boeta coming off the bench, I think he made a big difference. You know, I think just overall that whole pack, you know, Matanzima, scrum time, there was just some
Policeman was putting in big hits.
Yeah, you know, so, you know, overall, I think just all the teams, especially the ones that won, you know, unlucky for the Lions, Stormers just hanging on. But overall, you can see there's improvement. The teams are adapting. You know, now we just want to see now the continuity from here, because now they know they can win that side.
Yeah.
And if you look at the score margin, especially with the Bulls and the Sharks game, especially the Bulls coming 16-3 down, so now they know that they can play in that side, they can win, so they have to just keep on building from there. And that's what we want to see.
Yeah, if we can just, I think we need to keep an eye out for the Bok injury list at the moment. I see RG Snyman, he's gone down. Faf, he's questionable at the moment. Malherbe, I think he's out. Huerson, out as well. Colby, we don't really know. So I think it's going to be interesting, and it's going to be something that we should keep our eye on in the following weeks, of the competition, to see who can fill those places.
Yeah, I completely agree there. I think we touched on, like, at 9, with Faf. Hopefully it's not so bad with him. RG's name, and I think he's just unlucky, because you forget that there's him, in the locking position for the Boks, because I feel like he's a big player that the Boks missed in the Rugby Championship, to be honest. And you can just hope that look, overall I don't think it'll be too bad, from a locking perspective. Malherbe, I think there we may feel it, but then this is the time for a guy like Thomas du Toit too, because I can see he most likely will get that call up, so he's got to make sure that he's ready to step up. Huerson is unlucky, but then who's the next 10 when you look across? You don't see somebody else other than Monet Steyn still keeping his spot in that box setup, from an experience point of view. I think Huerson was most likely probably going to make that squad, so yeah, we just need to keep an eye out, and the boys must just clean bill of health, because Northern Hemisphere tour, I think that's even bigger, because these guys, all of those nations will have a chip on their shoulder because of the British and Irish Lions series, and they would want to sort of try and set the record straight as individual countries to say, no, but we can beat them, but we don't want that to happen.
Yeah, I think that's it from us this week. Any closing remarks, Chris?
Look, all I can say is that, onwards and upwards for our teams in the URC. Let's go. We got to start stacking those W's, step by step, but the last time I said stack the W's, our teams did bad. The Boks did bad. So let me just keep it calm, but good on our boys, let's hope for another good weekend.
Hoping for another good weekend. Time is to part. Out.
Thank you.